Welcome to Brave Frontier's Unit Analysis. Brave Frontier was launched in December 2013. You start the game by picking one of the 4 starting heroes. As you progress, you obtain units that help you along your journey. There are many in-game events such as PvP, Vortex Dungeons, and Frontier Hunter. The BF Pioneers team consists of 7 individuals, Lance, Traylox, Nova, Eco, Pika, JD, and Storm, who researches the units beforehand to give a reasonable ranking. Rankings are given in a 1 to 5 scale and follow 2 guidelines. 1. Each unit is evaluated against other units of the same element. 2. Each unit is ranked against unreleased units that are expected to come out within 1 month. Viewers can vote through our website at www.bfpioneers.com. You guys ready? Let's get started.
Hello there.
What's up? I don't think you're talking.
So this vortex is really very similar to the ones we've had before. 3 levels, each in slightly increasing difficulty. And at the end of each level, you're fighting the Nether Hound, right? And you need to get this you need to capture this Nether Hound, which you can in each dungeon, but it's just much higher level, to a higher level chance to catch them in the highest level. And then you need to use that, evolve the unit to 5-star to evolve the new unit Hadron to its 6-star form.
All right. Sorry about that. Some microphone issues, but now it should be fixed.
Oh. And I love you, T-Evolution.
All right, so right now we're talking about the Netherhound Vortex Dungeon. And we're just getting Loki and Pika's opinion. Sorry about that. And welcome all the viewers to Unit Analysis. This is our 23rd episode. And like I said, I'm joined by Pika and Loki. My name is Traylox. Tonight, you'll see the agenda up on the screen. But we'll talk a little more about that as we go along through the show. Since we've already started, let's just keep on moving, and let's continue talking about the Netherhound dungeon, Vortex dungeon, which is out right now. Pika, what's your opinion on this dungeon?
I don't really find it hard at all. Since like my units, I have every unit. Like the game is just really easy, and I was lucky enough to get him on the first try. So I didn't really have any issues with him. I did this dungeon once, I got him, and I just quit. So that's really all there is. But he does cast a stealth, if I'm correct, which is really annoying. And then once he does, then like you just sit there and you can't do anything, which is yeah. But he's not that huge of a problem. It's really easy, in my opinion. But yeah.
All right. Well, Netherhound, is a free-to-play unit, and similar to Cyclaw and Hydroloid. How does this unit stack up against the others?
Pika, you want to start off on this one?
Yeah, I'll start. Netherhound. Oh my goodness. This guy introduces like a whole new mechanic into the game. And what he does is he casts stealth once he casts his BB. But let's get into his leader skill first. And his leader skill is to boost critical hit chance by 10% and 50% attack on all units. And that actually is really good. As a free unit that you can get that boosts 50% attack to all your units and give a 10% crit is actually really, really, really good. But I would love to really rank these guys seriously, but I can't because I don't know how useful the stealth mechanic is. Because we could theory craft all we want, but we don't know what kind of content that Gumi is gonna release. And depending on what they release, they're gonna either make stealth either broken or they're just gonna make it like a skill that like no one cares about. And because we don't know, we can't really judge as well. But like if I look at his raw stats and I look at his BB, I look at his damage output, he is a fairly decent unit, and yeah, it's worth using if you're a free-to-play unit and you don't have those OP units and you have really bad luck with summoning, then you should farm this guy and get him. But as term as usefulness for me, as in my opinion, I would give Netherhound a 2-star because stealth at the moment is useless, and yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, I know a lot of people, everyone says there's just a lot of better units out there, but like face the facts, this guy is just like a stepping stone until you get the unit that you want. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this guy.
And the thing is, Pika, I know you play in the JP version of Brave Frontier quite a bit, right? More than global.
Yes.
So you know about the future content, and as of now, you're saying that it's hard to like get a grasp of like what stealth could do because it's not in JP. So
the reason is because like people are looking forward to like trials and they're looking towards raid, but the thing is, if I'm correct, this guy is you still get hit while you're in stealth when people AoE. So in raids and in trials, all the bosses you fight do AoE damage. So stealth is completely useless. Like it's probably okay when you normal quest because like their AoE doesn't do that much damage, and they usually use like single target damage. But when it comes to raiding, when it comes to trials, stealth is a useless mechanic, and that's yeah, that's why I don't like it. I think it's like really bad. But I see what they're trying to do because as Storm mentioned earlier, like they're moving into like an MMO mechanic. Like this guy fills the role of a thief class, the people who go into stealth and then they get this backstab ability. When they come out, they have a greater chance to crit. I see what they're trying to do, and it actually makes sense now after seeing Ultor with the taunt, and then seeing Trident with the shield, this guy with the stealth. It is all coming together, And I don't know what Gumi is trying to do with this, but it just looks ridiculous right now. And I'm pretty sure they're not gonna make like insane content by themselves because they're gonna copy the raid from JP. They're gonna copy the trials from JP and stuff. It's just gonna be useless.
So in his 5-star version, what typing would you give him?
Of course, I would give anima for everything because if you guys didn't hear me rant, anything when you get to raid class 3 and higher, and when you get to like the 4th trial, anything that is not Anima or Guardian is completely useless because you could get 100 to 0 with damage mitigation and defense buff.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason why Anima is top.
Mm-hmm. And Loki, why don't you go ahead and talk a little about Netherhound and how would you rate this unit?
Right. So Netherhound, I just want to go into the sort of stealth mechanic in itself. This is one of those new mechanics that we said, as Pika said, with taunt and the shield that we saw on the water Soban Saga unit. And what we're seeing really is sort of the putting in new abilities in content, then seeing how they work, and then trying to extrapolate them to units. So we saw this with the Lodaga that was in the Halloween event. That he had the extra shield. Then a few days later, the Water Dungeon came out with a shield unit. The stealth mechanic we first saw a long time ago when we were farming for the Aegis Cloak, and that bandit, the Fire Bandit unit, had it. And if he was the only unit there, and he was stealth, you couldn't hit him. You couldn't do anything. You basically lost your alternatives if your whole team is paralyzed, and his poison would just eat you alive. So the stealth function, the stealth ability, what it does is it stops you from being targeted. You can't be targeted. So if there are other units that are there, you can target those units, you can attack them. But if it's the only unit, you basically lose your turn completely. AoE attacks will hit somebody in stealth. But you won't be able to even cast those abilities, if he's the only unit there. So it's an interesting ability. I would say that in the future, if they have a unit that gives everybody stealth for like a turn, that'd be like ridiculous. And maybe we'll see something like that. But I'm just casting aspersions there. Unit-wise, I would go for Anima as well. I'd give it a 2. And as this is exactly the same reasons Pika said, it's because if you're going to use him for harder content and try to see if his ability works there, you'll need the extra HP above anything else.
And we'd like the viewers to vote alongside with us. We're ranking it from 1 to 5 stars, and you can see what the rankings mean on our website. 1 star being pretty much terrible, 2 stars a poor unit that could or cannot be used. It just depends on if you're a free-to-play player or not, and it goes up from there. So I suggest, if you guys have the time, go to our website and take a look and vote along with us. All right, so what did the viewers think about Netherhound? How many stars did they give him?
I gave him a 3-star.
Okay. So that's not really surprising because it's split down the middle. All right, so I guess let's move on to the next unit, Hatteron, which has a similar stealth mechanic. Now, Hatteron is a global exclusive unit, just like Ultor and Trident.
Yes.
So Hatteron's SBB has a 16 hit AoE, adds weakness and poison to attack for 3 turns, and also has that stealth ability. So what do you think about this unit, Pika?
Hatteron is, as I said, I can't really gauge the importance of stealth right now, but I'm looking at his other stuff, his leader skill, his SBB, and let's start with the leader skill, alright? His leader skill gives 20%, he gives a 20% attack to all allies, and the lower HP he has, the more attack that he gives your whole team. And the max he could give you is a 200% attack buff based on how low his HP is. I don't know how low you have to be to get that 200% attack buff, but it should be fairly low. And what I don't like about this guy is, I think this is what Gumi was thinking when they made him. All right, let's let's make him take a lot of damage. So he gives an insanely strong attack buff. And then let's give him a stealth mechanic, which makes it so he doesn't get hit, so he could remain low HP to give the attack buff. But the flaw is that he still gets hit with AoE. And then if you're trying to play like decent content, you're gonna get hit with AoE almost every turn. So if you try to like pull off like oh yeah, I'm gonna try to leave this guy with 500 HP so I can get like a 200% attack buff, you're just gonna get killed with the AoEs on the side. So it's so useless. I don't know what they were thinking. They made 2 OP units, and then they made Hatteron. So yeah, complete useless. But as useless as he is, they gotta add poison and weaken, which is completely useless as well, because you can't use poison and weakness for everything, because I'd rather use ignore defense. I don't want to like roll RNG and try to get weaken when you can get 100% rate on using defense ignore. So poison and weakness is totally useless. Useless status elements, useless stealth, that crit buff when he SBBs 16%, which is even more useless. Well, it's not that bad, but it's just really bad.
Right. So how would you rank the unit?
I would love to hate on this guy more, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna be useful anytime soon, unless Gumi makes like a really, really good exclusive like content. But seeing how much content they're pulling out lately, I don't think that's gonna happen. Hatteron, for me, I'm gonna give him Anima, of course. He has really high HP, like 7.3k. Really good. I don't really care about recovery that much, because Heart Crystal buff and heals are easy to come by, and yeah, I'm gonna give this guy a 3-star Anima.
Okay. Loki? Now, we have those 2 global exclusives, and people are comparing Hatteron to Kaja. What do you think about that? Is this a valid comparison?
It is. It is. Both their abilities boost their people's attack when they're low on HP. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Is Pico was saying that the boost on the leader skill is that depending on the HP of Nether King, or is it depending on the HP of the units? Do you know if it's like only for Nether King, or is if his HP goes low, everybody else gets boost, or is it depending on each individual unit? I'm not quite sure on that. Either way,
the Hatteron, HP of Hatteron. Nothing.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense if they want you to like have multiple units at low HP to just get attack buff. That is way too risky. If it was like that, then this guy would be even worse. Like, I would give him a 1-star. Yeah.
Nobody says HP units, but yeah, I have to test it. I don't have one. I didn't want to summon for him because he's not great.
Understandable.
But you know, he's objectively and stat-wise, he's not a bad hero. But is he up to par with you know, any of the other Soulbound Saga or any of the top tier units, like even like a Zell Knight or any other units that we use all the time now? So I would first of all definitely say don't summon him, but you know, his abilities just aren't that great. You know, the 20 attack to all and forcing him to be low health, and so he can get nuked down by a massive AoE attack, which most bosses have. It's really not very useful. When it comes to his stats, they're quite high, so not bad at all. But I would also put him as Anima to give him a nice HP boost, especially because the percentage, the higher the HP, the more damage you can take. The more damage you can take before he's at lower percentages. So if he's at 7,000 HP and he loses like 6,000 HP, he can still be a low percentage of his HP. So it could be more attack, more defense, but he won't die just as quickly. So Anima on him as well, and I would give him 2 stars.
And just for comparison's sake, the other 2 global exclusives, that was Ultor and Trident, they received 5 stars at their 6-star forms. And now we have Hatteron with a 2-star and 3-star. So you can see the discrepancy between OP units and then basically a terrible 6-star unit. In most cases, when ranking a 6-star unit, you wouldn't see a 2 or a 3. It's kind of seldom, although it's been popping up more and more nowadays.
Actually, it says here, a lot of people are saying that the leadership gives a buff to each unit that boosts their attack proportionally to their HP. So it seems to be individual units, which is
Okay.
So if you want to redo your rating there, Pika.
Wait, so apparently, so he actually does, like, it counts for the whole team?
No, everybody in chat seems to be putting forth that it's based on the HP of each individual unit.
So if you have a Zell Knight and the Zell Knight's low HP, then he gets an attack buff.
Yes.
Instead of just him as a leader. So
that means
I
that
don't,
all units
I don't
have
see
to
the point of that leader skill at all, though. Because it's such a risky leader skill. It's even worse than I thought it was. Like, instead of having like one unit playing the risky role and having the stealth to try and avoid damage, they make it so like, why would, oh my god, Gumi, I'm so confused. Is anyone like confused like I am? Because that doesn't make sense at all. Why would they want multiple units to stay low HP so they can get attack buff? I mean, if you look at like Maxwell and stuff, like that crit damage, elemental weakness damage, you don't have to sacrifice anything. But this guy, you have to sacrifice so much. And since I gave him a 3-star because I thought he was individually the buffer when he's low HP, I'm gonna even rate him lower because that is so bad. I would just give him a 2-star. Really, I changed my vote.
All right, 3-2. And it looks like even the spreadsheet says it's going to average out to 2. So, what do the viewers think?
They gave him a 3-star.
All right, that is reasonable. Now, I do want to go back to the January updates, which was released a couple days ago. The January updates brought in a new map called Aphrodilith. Have you guys experienced or gotten past the boss, and what can you get from the boss exactly? Start with Loki.
Yes, I just beat him recently. I don't know why, but I just raced through the content, and now I'm just saying like, well, not much else to do now. But you know, I went for it, and I just beat all the levels, and there's really nothing special. Units have a lot of beginning units have a lot of HP in the levels, but once you get all your BBs up, you can just BB spam your way through all of them. So Aldalia, yeah, the map's actually called Aldalia. Not Alphadilla. That's just the boss.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Apologies.
But Alphadilla is really not that hard. You just BB spam him down. The only thing you have to remember is to bring a mitigator, because when you kill him, he has the Angel Idol buff. So when you hit him with your when you get them down to 0, he uses Endless, which does quite a decent amount of damage, and then he'll come back to life with like 1,000 or 5,000 HP. So you need a mitigator to survive that Endless, and then once you survive it, you can just kill him with no problem. So I would definitely say bring a mitigator and keep his mitigation BB for when you're about to kill him, because you need, and make sure everybody's topped off, because you need to you just need mitigation, otherwise you're just gonna die at the Endless.
Okay. Pika, I heard that there was like an X dungeon that was released with this map. Have you taken a look yet on that?
Yeah, I believe it was Seeking Dervo, right? The water dude.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this guy was so confusing, because when I fought him, like, he didn't use his one-shot skill, the team wipe that people said when you lower his HP. I was just confused. Like, this guy wasn't any problem for me, because if you could beat the other extra dungeon bosses and trial bosses, this guy's nothing. Every 3 turns you have to guard because he removes buffs, but that is really, really simple. If you have experience and you know how to fight Maxwell and you know how to beat Maxwell and you know how it's really easy to you, then Darva and these content is like nothing. I mean, if you mess up, you can always jump for it too. And a gem is 4 for Spirit Frog, so you don't really lose anything. But Um, yeah, this one is actually really easy as well. It's not that hard,
Okay.
and yeah.
Yeah, it's not at all as hard as Emperor.
And as they released the January updates, we had the Terra Dungeon going. Now, we did discuss the Terra Dungeon last week, so we're not going to go into detail this week. But we are going to talk about the unit that you get called Dranoel. And Loki, what do you think about this unit? Is this a unit that free-to-play players should be using in their party, or what do you think?
So Genoel is about the same as all the other units that come from the Vortexes, right? So Titan Wing Blaze, Vorpal Wing Ceres, and you have Drenel. And he has the exact same leader skill except for his mono elements. So 50% attack to Earth units and 5% crit to Earth. His BB skill is similar as well. You have Earth. You have a element AoE, in this case Earth, and then a plus attack to Earth units only. So he's only good for mono teams. The same as the fire one and the lightning one, and really I just can't recommend him for anything. He's not great. As stuck as a 5-star unit, I mean maybe if a 6-star unit still comes out he'll be decent, but for a unit that's built specifically around a mono element, and he just doesn't bring anything great that special to the table. I know a lot of units bring 50% attack to Earth, and that 5% crit just isn't that special. So I'm really not. I think he looks really, really cool. Don't get me wrong. He looks awesome, like some sort of half dragon, half vampire thing. But overall, as a unit, he's really not that great. He is technically free, I guess, if you can, if you have the units and you have the time to sit there and get him without gemming. So I would actually give him a 3 just for being free and just for being a so-so unit that people can use. For mono teams. Outside of a mono team, and if you already have better units, then it's just not worth it.
And what's your favorite type?
It would have to be Anima, just because we're moving to 6 stars and even 7 stars, and to have him keep up, the most important thing is to give him more HP. So Anima.
Okay. Pika, what's your opinion on this unit, Dranoel?
I didn't get to rate Ceres, whatever her name is, but I actually think these units are actually really good. Because if you look at the 6-star starters, they only give like 50%. They give 50% attack and HP, and basically these units give 50% attack as well. But with crit, with this guy, he actually gives a Earth Ore, which gives 75% attack to all Earth units. And you can stack an attack buff on top of that, so it's actually really good. If you run a mono herb team with Drenel and you have like a Luca, you could stack up to like probably over like 200% attack, which is really, really good. I think he's a really good leader, and I like his BB that he gives an Earth Orb. But the fact that he doesn't have a 6-star really sucks, because if he did have a 6-star, he'd probably be really good. But I think these units are actually really good. They're like collectibles, but at the same time they're like fun to use. But since the Maxwell meta is so strong right now, because the difference from Global and JP is that Maxwell, when you give her elemental buff, she doesn't do the elemental weakness damage. She only does it to dark units, and she doesn't get it from anything else. So, but in Global, you could actually like get the elemental weakness damage if you like give her a elemental buff, and that's why Maxwell is so OP right now. I think Maxwell meta is gonna stay in Global just because of that mechanic, and it's too strong right now. Maybe when 7-star comes out, maybe the mono teams will be revived, but as OP as Maxwell is in Global, I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, I actually like this guy. I give him a 3-star as a yeah.
Okay. And what do the viewers think?
Actually, I just want to mention he only comes in Lord, so
Yeah, I changed it.
yeah.
Okay, so viewers, Pika, Loki. All right, so from what I'm seeing on my screen, at least, it seems to be tied for 1 star and 3 star. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, in which case we need one of the viewers to break the tie for us. So do you agree with the casters, Pika and Loki, that this unit should be rated 3 stars, given that Dread Noel is actually rated higher than Hatteron? Interesting. And we're talking about a 5-star Dread Noel. Or do you really dislike this unit and have to give him 1 star? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, that tiebreaker.
Yeah, break that tie.
Oh, they voted 1. Come on.
Yeah, 1.
Oh, they're tied again.
Oh.
All right, we're just gonna take the first. Okay, so it looks like 3 stars.
No, it's 5 and 5. So.
Yeah.
So we voted for 5 star.
Or I'm seeing 7 votes for 3 stars and 6 votes for 1 star. So we're just gonna go with
3 star.
a 3. All right, guys, thanks for chiming in. We're reading all of your comments in chat, so let us know what you think of these units. Now, finally, we are going to be moving on to the 6-star Eris badge. So, Eris, okay. You guys ready?
Born ready.
Yes.
All right. So last time when we spoke about Eris, we ranked his 5 stars. His SBB is a 16-hit single target, which regenerates BB gauge. So, of course, the question comes up, is he better than other units that do BB generation, such as Rogan, Lilith, or Sergio? And Pika, start with you.
So, in my opinion, Aris and Shara are the best units in this batch. Aris, the thing about infinite SBB users is that usually you just have them to dish out consistent damage. But for this guy, he has utility on top of it because, for example, you can spam his SBB and then when your Darwin Shell, your Shara, doesn't have their damage mitigation BB, you could activate his BB to give 8 BC fill so they could get it. And it's the same as Zelnite, which is really good. And the thing about his BB is that it's really cheap too. It's like, what is it? The cost 18 BC cost to use his BB to fill 8 BC, which is so good. And usually when people bring infinite SBB units, it's because they're fighting like trials bosses and extra dungeon bosses. And sometimes when you don't have that Darwin Show or Shara damage mitigation, you could literally like lose just because of that one turn you don't have it. And basically by running this guy, what he offers that the other units don't have is of course the BB gauge fill, the 8 BB gauge fill, which is like really useful. I mean, if you want like maximum damage, of course Rogan is gonna do more damage because Rogan just 1 hit and you can spark that easily. But this guy, the utility is much better. You know, I'd rather have the security than like the damage. So I really think this guy is the best unlimited SBB unit of all the time I played him, because if you guys don't know, I've been playing Japanese Brave Frontier for a really long time, and I had this guy for a while since he came out in JP, and you guys just barely got him. So I've been using this guy a really long time, and he is really, really useful. I could literally auto battle like the trials of this guy because of his SBB and BB mechanic.
Okay.
And
so how would you rank the unit?
Yeah, I would give him a 5-star anima, of course, because yeah, you need that survivability. You can't pull out consistent damage if you die.
Alright, so we're getting a lot of comparisons in chat from Eris to Rogan. Can he spark? He can't spark. He does a lot of damage. Alright, what's the correct answer here, Loki? Who's correct?
Well, I'd have to say that I think I agree, and I think Aris is probably the best, as long as you're not fighting somebody who's a water unit. And really, as Pika said, it's because of utility. The ability to fill up a BB at the last second, if your mitigator or healer needs to get their BB off, is very, very useful. It's something that none of the other units that have infinite BBs have. So I definitely think that ours is probably the best out of the infinite BBs, unless, of course, you're fighting water units. If you're not fighting water units, if you're fighting units of all different kinds, I would suggest more Lilith, just because light is either does extra damage or normal damage. It's either neutral or not. So that's the way I feel about when it comes to these guys. His stats are very nice as well. I do want to say his rec is a bit high, so I would suggest that he's anima when I pick his typing. But yeah, he's a very nice unit, and these SBB units are made. These unlimited SBB units are made for one thing, that's killing bosses or having a unit does a decent amount of damage without having to worry about his BB gauge. So in that respect, he works very well, and I would definitely say he's a 4. Yeah, I'd say a 4-star.
All right, you guys seem to like this unit. What do the viewers think?
They gave him a really easy 5-star. Like,
Now, I do want to see Eris fighting a Maxwell as compared to a Rogan. There's some interesting lineups combinations that you could have. Maybe even a Trident as leader, or Ultor with an Eris. Some really interesting stuff. The next unit up is Belphura. Now, I do remember the last time we ranked Belphura, it was one of the units that got really high ranking along with Shera. I don't recall Eris having a pretty big ranking last time. So what does Belphura do? Well, she does an 18 hit AoE as her SBB, fills BB for 1 turn, and has a chance to reduce enemy attack and defense for 30% for 1 turn. So her SBB is a mouthful, but is she really useful? Loki, start with you.
No problem. So I wasn't ranking the units last week, so I can't really say about how good she is. But I think from what she brings, her SBB just has a lot of utility. I think that's what we're going to see with a lot of the units in this pack. A lot of their SBBs have just tons of utility. They do a lot of things at the same time. And what we're seeing here with Master Goddess Belphura, first of all, I want to say that I think she looks awesome. Her avatar, it's like riding an ice dragon. It's awesome. But her SB, let's look at her leadership skill first. Is not great. Chance for random ailment and spark damage plus. She really doesn't do. The random ailment, the percentages are not very high. I believe it's like 7% or 13%, which isn't that great in my opinion. And her start damage, while being nice, is nothing special either. So for either of those things, I would make her a leader. Now, when it comes to SBB, it is very nice, and it fills very quickly. Let's see, hit-wise is 18 hits, and it does just so much. We're looking at almost a load-in when it comes to low in SBB. So you have water you have a water AoE, you have lightning AoE. It fills your BBs. And it does have the reduced chance of enemy attack and defense by 30%. Though the chance of that proccing is also 30%. So the chance of it proccing is not very high. So I can't really give her a 5. But does she have nice stats? Yes. Does she do a lot of things at once? Yes. So I would definitely say that she's easily a 4.
And sorry, I didn't catch it. What was your favorite typing?
My favorite typing for her would be Guardian. I feel that she would be brought into a raid of some sort for her ability to reduce the attack and defense of an enemy, especially if a boss does a lot of damage, and I want her to have a lot of defense, so I'd say Guardian.
Okay. All right. Pika, what do you think about Belphura?
I agree with what you said. Leader skill, I think, is useless. If you're using Belphura as a leader, then you must be going through some hard times, because random status elements not reliable. 30% spark buff is useless. I say useless a lot because as Data said, I have kind of spoiled of Japanese Brave Frontier. I get all new content, etc. I get access to all the new units, and when I see like bad leader skills that are not like top notch, I just say they're useless because, yeah.
Okay, so Pika, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Aside from Maxwell, which unit has a good leader skill that's useful?
Good leader skill that's useful in global or JP?
In global. Because
In global, there's a lot. There's Ultor, there's Tridon, there's
Okay.
what's it there? There's Elza. There's like really good
All right,
units.
all right. So I just wanted to give people some idea of what skills would be useful. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
But what this guy offers is I don't know if Loki touched on this because I was looking into some other mechanics, but I believe right now there's only like if you count JP in, there's only like 3 or 4 units that actually gives attack and defense down debuff. There's only like 3 or 4 of them because there's of course there's Balfour, there's Ragsham, there's the 5th trial. What's her name again? Selval, whatever. So this 3, and then I forgot the other 4th one, but I think there is 4. And the thing about these is it actually is useful because the attack down debuff is not like injury or weaken, because attack down and defense down actually reduces their base attack and defense. So it stacks with injury and weakness. So it's really, really good. But the thing is, like, to make it actually is a bit too OP, so they have to like tone it down a notch to gives it like a 30% proc rate. But 30% proc rate is pretty reasonable because if you could spam like 60-70% proc rate for attack and defense down, it'd be kind of overpowered, and this game would probably be broken like what Trident did. But they were smart. They made it 30%. And what I like about this guy is his 8 BB fill with his SB, which is really cheap too. 20 additional crystals to get his SBB, which isn't that much. And I would like it a little more if it was on his Brave Burst instead, but they made it SBB. But like in general, this unit is a really good unit. I like her stats. Her stats are really high as an HP because I really like HP. 7.3k as Anima maxed out, really good. This unit deserves I would really give this unit 5-star, but considering how bad the leader skill is, I had to give this unit 4-star.
And your typing preference?
Anima.
Okay. Just want to. Okay, so first let's get a gauge of what the viewers think.
Oh, one last thing I'd like to add before we do that.
Go ahead.
Is that these, unlike other abilities that increase your defense, like mitigation, they all stack with the reduced enemy attack and defense. So if you reduce the enemy's attack or defense by 30% or attack by 50%, and then you put on mitigation, those stack together. So those work out even better. So I just want to put that out.
Yeah, so 30% proc rate is reasonable. If you can stack consistently, then it's just too OP. You'll literally take only like 70%. Like you literally mitigate like 70% damage, which is not even fair.
It's the Fiora batch, I think, Fiora and Arden, who have that 50% attack debuff.
So viewers' opinions. What do we have?
10 for 4-star, it seems.
10 for 4 stars. Okay, so 4 it is. Now I want to give you guys an idea of what the viewers ranked last time around. And the last time around, I want to just show you right here.
I did vote. I wasn't there.
Belfour received a 5-star from the viewers.
Oh really?
And this was in the 5-star form. So.
Oh man.
Okay.
That's
job,
really
viewers.
confusing.
You guys are, we either got like a different set of viewers, or we had the same viewers that changed their minds. So.
Yeah, man. If we put a Bernie on the chart, they probably rate it 5-star too.
That's what we did with Frosty, and they did rate it 5 stars. 5s all around for Frosty. Okay, next unit up is Ragsham. Okay, Ragsham is an Earth unit, of course, But the discerning factor for this unit is that it gives an injury ailment to attack for 3 turns. So, Loki, the question becomes, do you like injury or not?
Yeah, that's just true. So, frankly, when it comes to the adding the ability, it's pretty nice, and I think this is the first batch that has that ability, like adding injury, adding paralysis, adding poison curse. This is the first unit that really has done this, and it's an interesting technique because it's each individual attack has a percentage to put it on there. So even if it's low, like 70%, if you have it on all your units and then all of them attack, then each individual attack is like a 7% chance. That's a lot of chance. So there's pretty much a chance it's going to happen no matter what, especially when you are pulling out BBs. So first of all, I want to mention that out of all these guys, I have one of the units I have is a Ragchum, so I'm pretty excited about him. His HP. So the first thing to mention is 30% HP, and that's really nice. So it puts him sort of like an X-Vel tanky leader, but he still can be tried on as a tank leader. So if Tridon wasn't available, I guess like in Brave Frontier Japan, he would be top tier for tanky teams. But right now, it just sort of puts him as secondary, unless you don't have a Tridon, in which case he's pretty decent for a leader there. Chance to ignore defense. I think we've all said that's not really that useful, but it's not bad to have there if you're still doing metal parades. So it's SPB, of course. It has a decent fill rate, the same as Volfura and most other people in the team. So in the batch, so it's 25 and 20, 18 hits, powerful earth attack, adds injury and ailment for 3 turns to all units, and there's also a chance to reduce enemy attack and defense by 25% for 2 turns. So that's similar to the one we saw in Belfura, but it's a bit less, but it does for 2 turns instead of 1 turn. Though I believe it's still only 30%. So I do like the fact that it lasts for more than 1 turn. It gives you a little bit more of a chance to have it. So let's say you're doing BB spam and you get enough to cast it each turn. It's pretty useful because that means if 1 turn it doesn't go on, the next you still have a chance, another chance next turn for it to go on. So I definitely like that. His stats are quite nice as well. All sort of above 2,000. His HP is just under 7,000. So he's very good in a lot of things he does, and I definitely think he's a good unit. I'd give him 4 stars, and I would give him Guardian status since that he seems to be more for tanky teams.
So it seems like Nova likes this unit because he described this unit as Ultimate Dragon, Mountain, Super Omega God. Pika, what do you think about this assessment? Is it valid?
Yes, because this is a god, dragon god. Like literally, the name says dragon god. And all right, let's since nobody laughed at my jokes, I guess I'll just get on to the voting. And the analysis. So I really like Ragchum. The injury that he gives to the team is really good, and on top of that, he has a chance to inflict attack and defense down for 2 turns. To balance it out, because usually it only lasts for 1 turn, they decreased it to 25% at a 30% proc rate. So I actually like Ragchum better because the 2-turn security is much better than the 1 turn. The 1 turn. Like you could avoid damage for 1 turn, but that's it. But you need that 2-turn security, and that's what Ragchum offers. And on top of that, he gives an injury effect too, so you take even less damage if you proc the injury and the attack down. So what I found this guy really useful in is raids, because raids, attack down and injury are really useful because there are a decent amount of bosses who are susceptible to injury. I mean, none of them are immune to attack down and defense down, but that injury on top just makes your life a lot easier, and RNG won't screw you over as much. And I really like this unit. Really good stats too, like his HP, really high HP. If they have high HP, then they get like a really I give him like a biased overview, but this guy has everything you want. The leader skill is good, 30% attack and HP. Usually the other units, when they give 30% HP, they only give you like heal or heal over time, like expel. But this guy gives another useful stat, which is attack and ignore defense at 15%. The ignore defense isn't useful, but it's better than nothing, right? So I really like him. He's really useful for raids.
All right.
I used him a lot. Yeah, I can't really find anything that bad about this guy because considering how this unit is supposed to be played, everything fits in together. It makes sense, you know. Like unlike Hatteron, it doesn't make sense. And I give this unit an anime of 5 stars because he deserves it. Really good unit.
So, Pika, you really like this unit, and right now on our website, the #1 Earth unit is Zell Knight. So, would you rather take a Ragshelm or a Zell Knight into raid?
The thing is, of course, I was talking to this earlier, but of course, the meta right now is attack buffer, a crit buffer, a spark buffer, damage mitigation, and that's 4 units already. So people usually like to run double Maxwell on top of that, but I really, because I sacrificed, well, I use, what's his face, Kuda as an attack and crit buffer so I could save 1 slot. And that 1 slot, I always make room for Zell Knight, because Zell Knight is such an OP unit. Like, he's never going to be bad, no matter what. And, yeah.
Pika, you still here?
I believe something was happening. Go ahead.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. Your mic went off for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what was your answer to that question? A Zell Knight's always good in all around. So, which unit would you prefer taking into raid?
Zell Knight, because
Zell Knight, okay.
when it comes to raids, when you fight bosses, they have multiple body parts, and they usually range from like 3 to 4, and you literally don't need a healer at all. You basically run a BB spam team, and basically you heal up Zell Knight's Heart Crystal buff, and that is how raid is run. Like, you do not need a healer at all, and that's how OP Zell Knight is. A raid just makes Zell Knight like stand out even more than other units, because I cannot raid if I don't have Zeno on my team, because he counts as my healer and offensive attacker too. So Zell Knight will always have the #1 spot.
Okay. How did the viewers rank Ragshelm?
I gave him a 5-star as well.
Okay. 5 it is. And now we're going to the last 3 units of the night. That is Shera, Priscilla, and Borgias. We're going to start with Shera, the Thunder unit. So what does Shera do? We've all heard about Darvin Shell, right? 6-star Darvin Shell. And a lot of players I know opted to Sphere Frog Darvin Shell. Now Shera does much of the same. So what's your preference, Loki? Is it Shera or Darvin Shell?
So it depends really on what you're facing and what you're bringing to the table. So first of all, let's look at Shera, right? So her leader skill reduces BB gauge used and reduces and chance to reduce damage. So already she's out of the gate. She has basically what Fee and Zella have as their leadership skill, but she also changes the reduces the damage taken, chance to reduce damage taken. So that's pretty nice. Overall, it's not the best leader skill, but it's not bad. Then looking at her SBB, we're seeing a powerful AoE hit, 26 hits, and I'll go to that in a second. Reduced damage by 50%, so mitigation, and plus attack. So first, I want to start with the AoE attack. 26 hits. That's insane. I believe Darvin Shell has about 14 or 18. So 26 is just a lot. So we have a unit not only that can attack, but has great BB generation as well in her attack because there's so many hits. Then we have, of course, mitigation, which is always nice. So she's one of the, I believe, 4 units now who have that 50% mitigation, or 5 units. And then also she adds that attack at the end. Now, the attack can be a positive or a negative depending on what you bring to the table. Darwin Shell adds, I believe is 100% defense on his
It's
SPB.
50.
It's
50%.
50.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Shara adds attack to on her BB. So if you're bringing somebody else who's supposed to be using an attack boosting BB, then you want to make sure not to overwrite that with hers. On the other hand, if you don't have one, then she provides that ability, that utility as well in her BB. So she's definitely very good, and I'd say probably the best mitigator right now, just for pure utility. So I would give her 5 stars, and I would say the best for her is, I would say it's Anima.
And now a lot of what you said, Loki, was actually said a couple weeks ago when we did the 5-star forms of this unit, Shara.
Awesome.
And so, Pika, what do you think about Shara?
Oh man, it's an easy 5-star. I mean, people already know, but I'm gonna bring in some things I encountered with Cheryl when I was using her. One thing you gotta take in mind is that she's an attack buffer, but at the same time, the attack is only 80%. Of all the units we have, if you look into Kuda, which is 100% attack, 40% crit, look at Kula, you look at 115%. Like, would you actually use the 80% attack instead, or would you actually use the Sheriff? And yeah, Trilox, what would you rather use? Would you rather stick with the 80%, or would you go with 100 or 115%?
Tough one. Probably the 115.
What would you do? What would you do?
The 115?
You would pick the 115?
Yeah, that's the higher one, right?
That's where my argument comes in, because if you're gonna use an attack buffer, Shara is gonna overwrite, which is really, really annoying. And I actually, like, in my opinion, I prefer Darwin Show, because people don't realize how useful that 50% defense buff is, because it's really easy to find an attack buffer nowadays. There's a lot of units that give good and a decent attack buff, but no one uses a defense buffer. But as like Darwin Shell, he is really good. And once you guys get to raid, because of course I'm spoiled by the Japanese Brave Frontier, whenever I run Shara for raid class 3, raid class 4, or when I try like 4th trial, 5th trial, I always die. And I always die too, like by the smallest margin. Like, I could have lived up if I had like a little more defense. But I started to realize how important Darwin Shell's 50% defense was. And I started to dislike Shara, because when Shara came out, I was like, holy crap, an attack buffer that does like, what, 26, 27 hits SVB, this guy's gonna be OP. But then after using him for a while, I started to realize the cons about Shara. But that's only my opinion.
And Nova approves this conversation, by the way.
Wait, what? He
Nova,
approves?
because you're talking a lot about Guardian.
Oh.
And defense. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, Nova's probably really happy right now, because I'm talking about Darwin Shell's defense buff. And so, I really like Shara, but in my opinion, Darwin Shell is a better unit. Because, of course, defense buff is rare. You don't see that often. And you won't realize it until you get to, like, raids, which Global doesn't have right now. But once it does come out, you guys will start seeing the difference that it could amount to. And, of course, it's going to be Anima 5-star. No joke. Really simple. And I had a Guardian. This is for Nova. I had a Guardian Shara. But she just felt like she kept dying too much. So I swapped her out to an Anima one, and then the Anima one worked like perfectly fine.
I think Nova would rather have a Darwin Shell and an Eve in the squad.
Why would you want a Darwin Shell and an Eve? They they overwrite. Well, it's Nova, so I won't question. It's the defense that he likes.
Eve gives a attack, right?
Shara
defense.
gives 80%, and then Darwin Cho gives 50%.
Oh, okay. So he wanted
defense.
that comparison. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So what do the viewers think?
Easy 5 stars.